What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. I'm back from my trips overseas. Still a little jet lagged, but there was a list idea I was thinking of during my 39 hours of traveling the other day on getting back home. So I just figured I'd come on here and share it. The idea is a really MSU style Champions of Russ. This is something I played around with last edition with Space Wolves, but didn't really work that well in 9th edition with our book then. I have no idea if it'll work now. I think it has some potential. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and just bring up new recruit here. And I'll run you guys through my thoughts. All right, so we'll start with configuration. Battle size 2000. Detachment is going to be Champions of Russ. And this is Sunday afternoon, around 5:20. So we just got a little while ago, what's it called? That the Thousand Suns are getting put up for a pre-release next weekend. Their preview is this weekend, so that means we're at least 2 to 3 weeks out. Best case scenario for Wolves. So we are going to have some time to play some events because then they'll be up for pre-order for a couple weeks. So we're a month out at best from playing with the new codex. So there's some time to play around with some of these new builds. So we'll go ahead and look at some epic heroes. So in this list, I want Logan on foot. I want Ragnar, and I want Yorick. Those are going to be my named characters in this list, or my epic heroes. We'll go ahead and make Logan the Warlord just to get rid of that thing that shows there's something wrong with the list. And then we are going to add some other characters. I'm going to add a chaplain. And what else was in this list? I felt a captain. I already brainstormed this list during my travels with my app on my phone. So I have a pretty good idea of what I want to see. And then a lieutenant with combi weapon, one in Reaver armor, and one in Phobos armor. So still a lot of characters in this list because it is Champions of Russ. All right, so let's go ahead and these are all epic characters, so there's no options on them. Captain, we will go ahead and make him heavy bolt pistol, master power weapon, relic shield, and we will give him the Black Death. Because Champions of Russ, you still want to have the Black Death in there pretty much most of the time. Chaplain, Phobos armor, lieutenant. I don't think any of them really have any options. I don't know if the Reaver lieutenant can take the things. Nope. All right. Then the lieutenant with combi weapon will be by himself. So in this, we're going to take the Assault Intercessor Squad to run with the captain. And then we'll also be taking at least one regular Intercessor Squad, just because this is going to be a really infantry-heavy list. And Intercessors are a really good infantry option. So the captain, or not the captain, the sergeant in this unit will have, he's going to power sword, plasma pistol, power fist, and we can give him, oh, that's assault them, so that's all he can get. And then in the Intercessor Squad, we'll go ahead and power fist and give one grenade launcher, which will be on the sergeant. All right, so then we need to flush out some more stuff. So we've got the Assault Intercessors to run with the captain. So we need some units to run with the other guys. So we're going to take Blade Guard Veterans, 6-man. We're going to do that twice, one for Ragnar, one for the chaplain. Yorick will run with Wolfguard. We want 10 with Storm Shields. And then we want to give them some transports. So we're going to give Pulsar, and Rhinos. So the Rhino is going to be for Yorick and his Wolf Guard. And then the Impulsor will give the Shield Dome. I like the Stormbolters and give it the Heavy Stubber. And then we're going to run 3 of those. One for the Captain and the Intercessors, and then for both Blade Guard squads, one with Ragnar, one with the Chaplain. All right, so that puts us at, where's our points up here? 1660. So we have 340 points to play with. All right, so what else do we want to add to this? Anything else will be infantry, because this is going to be infantry every list. I think you need to take at least one of the scouts. We'll give the sergeant, drop the bolt gun, give him chainsword, and then on the regular squad, we'll drop 2 of these guys. We'll add, where are they? Oh, one with special weapon. And where is the, oh no, these are Wolf Scouts. We don't want Wolf Scouts, sorry. We want regular scouts. So we'll delete the Wolf Scouts. Go back in here, add regular scout squad. All right. So Stardy's chainsword, 1 sniper rifle, drop 2 of these, and then 1 heavy weapon. Oops. Which will be, oh, there we go. 1 heavy weapon, which will be the missile launcher. For this is the way I have it modeled. I know some people like the heavy bolter, but that's the way I like to do them. Then we will add a squad of infiltrators, just because I like to have one in every list I run. Give them the gauntlet in the comms array. So that should leave us with 170 points. All right, so what do you do with 170 points? Oh, we've got 2 Reaver squads, so we need to add, or we got 2 Reaver characters, so we need to add some Reavers. So we'll add 2 5-man army characters. All right, let's get out of the characters, go back to infantry. I wish there was a way to use the GW app on the computer, because I just like it a lot better than I like using New Recruit, but it does a good enough job for what we're trying to do. So we'll duplicate that, and that leaves us with 10 points. All right, so what do we do with 10 points? So we can drop one of these characters, run one of those squads by themselves, which would give us 65 points. We could drop the lieutenant with combi weapon and upgrade him to something else, like another intercessor squad. Oh, we did something wrong here. All right, so we got a 6 intercessor squad. So we have to drop one of these. Okay, that much better. I thought this was looking a little weird. All right, so that leaves us 190 points. No, that leaves us 90 points. All right. So that's all right. So that's what I had in my original brainstorm list, is a squad of JPIs, Plasma Pistol and Power Fist, and then we'll give them 1 Plasma Pistol on the squad, and that should put us at our 2,000. So we got Logan running by himself, which I've had decent success with. It still gives you the once per game full reroll to charge, full reroll to hit, and he's good at doing little actions. He can clear some little skirmish units by himself. It takes a little more to kill than people really want to put into him sometimes, especially once he's popped his once per game. He really doesn't give much to the army after that, other than if he can kill a little unit, you gain a CP. Ragnar with Blade Guard, I always find is super efficient. Yorick with Wolf Guard, the full rerolls, he just makes that squad really a blender into a lot of stuff. Black Death Captain, once per game, he's really, really going to be good into a monster vehicle. Hopefully helps you trigger Saga the Beast Slayer. That's kind of a grenade unit. So you kind of send them out early, and then hopefully their impulsor is a good little scoring piece, move blocking piece. That's what all 4 transports will be good for. Keeping you alive for a turn or 2 to get them where you want, and then just kind of being annoying and harder to kill than people really want them to be, and some little tank shocks for some free mortals to finish some stuff off possibly later in the game. Chaplain with the 2nd Blade Guard. They have the built-in +1 to wound, which means early in the game, even if you don't have Beast Slayer up, you can still give them +1 AP, and they'll have the +1 to wound built in all the time. And possibly on a turn where you send Ragnar's squad in, if you have Beast Slayer active, you could have both Blade Guard units with +1 to wound, and that really, really helps with them because they have a decent amount of attacks. They have decent AP at -2, decent damage at 2 damage. The only real thing they miss sometimes is being Strength 5, can be a problem in some matchups. So with having one squad always +1 to wound and a second squad with the option to get it, they can really punch up more than people think. Lieutenant and Phobos armor, just drop him with one of your units. They can still deep strike. They can still shoot and move. They can't quite as well do the charge after, so they're not quite as good as stealing the objective as they were in before that nerf to him, but they can still drop in, get places decently. The shoot and move is still very, very useful. You just have to use it in a different way. Then the Lieutenant Reaver armor just makes a little extra punch in that Reaver unit and making their -1 OC aura go to 6 inches instead of 3, which can really, really help screen out an objective. Like you could potentially not even be on the objective and really cover most of it. So if anybody touches it, they're -1 OC unless they're like on a real tip of it, which means they can't punch very much of their unit on it. And then all these have the potential of serially Saga the Bear or one of the others for you. Assault Intercessors, they're just there to keep the captain alive and give him the reroll wounds if it's on the objective. Reroll 1s to wound even if it's not. Intercessors can help you sticky objectives, and the double shooting just means they're really, really efficient for their points. JPIs, you can deep strike them if you need to. I normally prefer to start them on the table, but this has a lot more units and bodies than normal, so we'll see how that works out. But they're one of your faster units. They can do mortals on the charge. Plasma pistols, all have chain swords for the -1 AP. So really, really good for skirmishing other little skirmish units and doing some cheap mortals into something you're trying to finish off. Blade Guard I went over with their characters. I just really love Blade Guard. Hopefully when our book comes out, these will be like head taker squads, and we'll just be even better at what I like to do with the Blade Guard, but we'll see how that happens when we get the book in a couple weeks or a month or whatever it is. Infiltrators, talk about them in a lot of my videos, building lists. They're pretty much always in my lists. You can just drop them on your backfield objective, screen it out, and really never have to worry about it again. Just nobody can come in there. And now with intercessors, you could really start the intercessors on it, move them off, and now you control it, and your infiltrators can bubble out without actually having to touch it. So there's some extra little plays in there with them and the intercessors. And then them having the built-in 6-up Feel No Pain, just sometimes they survive a little longer than they should. Reavers, combat knives at AP1, they hit decently hard into a lot of stuff. Just pistols, so not super great at shooting, but they're fine. But their -1 OC aura just gives you some really, really interesting plays. Scout squad, just infiltrate, scout move, just their screening unit. They can up down, which I find with I only have one of them, it normally doesn't get to do that much. It normally dies kind of early to score me points. We'll see if it fills the same role in this type of list. I believe it will. Then the Wolf Guard running with Yorick. They're only -1 damage, but with the full reroll to hit, full reroll to wound, and +1 to hit from Yorick, they're hitting on 2s with full rerolls into any monster or vehicle. Only 1 per turn, so if you're in combat with 2, you have to pick 1, but you just pick your targets. You can normally really, really hamper something. And then this squad and the Blade Guard both having 4 invols. They're decently survivable for little infantry units. And then you got the 4 dedicated transports to keep your 4 hard-hitting units alive, and then be really annoying nuisances. Because what you have in this list, you have 4 really, really hard-hitting units: the 2 Blade Guard, the Yorick squad with the Wolf Guard, and then the Black Death Captain ones for game will hit really, really hard. So those you really want to keep alive and to get places, because that's going to be where most of your damage comes from, especially if you're fighting tougher stuff. If you're fighting like Guardsmen or like Gene Stealer Cult or something like that, then your Reavers, your Intercessors, all that'll do significant damage as well. But into other stuff, the full rerolls on the Wolf Guard and the potential, well, the +1 to wound on Chaplain Squad, potentially on Ragnar Squad, really, really help those squads punch up, which you'll really, really need in matchups into like Knights, Grey Knights if they're Dread Knight heavy, stuff like that. So those are really, really important to keep alive and have mobility on them. The rest of your stuff is just trading pieces. You have a lot of trading pieces in this list. It's, like I said, MSU, Purge the Foe, Louis Baddest list, whereas with my Champions, not my Champions of Russ, my Thunderwolf and Canis lists I've been running, Purge the Foe in most of the time is like a really, really good matchup for me. So you're really giving up Purge the Foe into most armies. This I think will fight like Eldar really well, because everything can kill Eldar bodies, and you just have enough units and pieces to trade with them, and you don't rely on shooting. Most of your damage is still combat here, so you can really pressure them hard and take away a lot of their movement tricks, especially with Yunari. So I like that. The new World Eaters, the new Death Guard, new Thousand Suns coming out. Those are all untested things, so not exactly sure how this goes into those, but I think this will play missions well, and you have a lot of stuff to do secondaries between the transports and your scouts, your infiltrators, your intercessors, your reavers, your JPIs. You won't need to use, hopefully, your 4 damage bricks to do secondaries, or be relied on to be, your objective holders or your sacrificial pieces, because you have lots of those. So I think this should play well into a lot of things. So I'm actually kind of interested in playing this list to see how it works before, because I got a month at best until the new book comes out. Kind of reached my peak with the Canis list. It's a very, very good list, the Canis list. It can win events. I believe I've got it in position a few times to win. Little bad luck, but then a little things looking back I could have done different in some of those top table matchups. So I don't think it was really faults in the list. It was possibly me making a few small decisions, which in some of those type of matchups can really just be the difference, because it never really got crushed. I had a bunch of tight losses in really important games, which I believe fall more on me as a player than it did on the list. This list, I think, has potential, but until you put it on the table, you never really, really know. It could be amazing, it could be decent, or it could just be completely garbage. But I think it should be really, really decent. So I will probably play around with this for the next month or so. I'm actually helping TO an event next weekend. So at best, I'll get like a ringer game in with it. So that won't really be much testing. But then I'm going to try to get to a few events the weekends after that and see what this can actually do. But with that being said, appreciate everybody that subscribed to the channel. Anybody who's not, if you like watching this content, want to see more, especially when the new book comes out, between Aiden and myself, we're going to do a lot of playtesting between the different attachments, the different units, different character combos, just to get some testing done for you that you don't have to do yourself, and get feedback. So hopefully makes us all get a hold of that book and get the best out of it as quickly as possible. And just, to help us keep giving you guys more and more Space Wolf content. With that being said, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll catch you guys next time.